Welcome, everyone, to the first edition of the Ocho Ortiz Wrestling Podcast. This week, we're going to be reviewing WrestleMania 31. This week's podcast is sponsored by
Suplex City Bitch t-shirts.
Exactly. It's a shirt that we made, and it's available now for about another week up on Teespring. You can go to teespring.com/supcity. That's teespring.com/SUPcity. Anyways, on with our show. Josh!
I can't even do it. But welcome to, what did you call it? The Ocho and Ortiz Wrestling Podcast show?
The Ocho and Ortiz Wrestling Podcast. That's right. It's a title in progress, folks. We might change that down the road, but right now we're going with the Ocho and Ortiz Wrestling Podcast.
And this is our very first podcast. And we've been thinking about what can we do it on? What are we going to do it on? Different wrestling shows, probably a whole bunch of indie shows here in Toronto, maybe off of NXT, because we both seem to like that show, maybe some Lucha Underground if he starts watching it. But for our very, very first show, we decided to go with the biggest show of the year, WrestleMania 31, or as everybody else is calling it, WrestleMania Play Button. And, we're 2 weeks removed from it, exactly 2 weeks. And what do you think so far?
I watched the pay-per-view live on, not on television, but on an online stream. You were there live. It was the first WrestleMania that I've seen in a long, long time. I think the last one that I remember watching was WrestleMania 22 in Chicago, and I hadn't really watched any of the Raw or the SmackDown going into this.
Oh, I'm happy for you because I had to watch that shit. It was pretty bad.
Well, as you know, I've been away from wrestling for quite a few years. You recently got me back into it by getting me to watch NXT, which is just absolutely spectacular, and we'll talk about that on a different show. So I really had no expectations going into WrestleMania. I know from what I had heard from a lot of people that watch wrestling on a regular basis that the build-up to this WrestleMania was pretty much piss poor, and everyone thought it was going to basically suck hardcore.
That was an understatement of piss poor.
But, not having watched any of the Raws or the SmackDowns building up to it and just going into it sort of cold turkey, I didn't have any expectations, so I ended up really enjoying the show.
Well, I watched all the Raws, most of the SmackDowns, maybe not everyone, but most of them. And I really didn't want to go at one point because I've gone to, this is my fourth WrestleMania in a row, my sixth altogether, but the last few years the builds have been great. Last year's build was amazing when I was going to WrestleMania 30 with the Yes Movement and Daniel Bryan, and this year's was just horrible. Even the go-home show for Raw, the ending of that Raw was just bad. Between Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns fighting, just not even fighting, pulling tug-of-war over the title.
The greatest thing about that, and again, I didn't see the Raw, but I'm on Twitter quite often. So on Twitter, after that incident took place on Raw, there were a bunch of memes that popped up immediately, and there was a meme of somebody had replaced the belt with a picture of an N64 console. So it was Brock and Roman Reigns fighting over an N64 console.
I didn't see that one, but I think there was one of a picture of Sable or a cutout of Sable.
It was Sable's Playboy cover photo from back in the 90s, and that one was pretty good too. Yeah. That one and the N64 one were the two best ones that I saw that really stuck in my mind.
Yeah, I saw that one. It was pretty funny. It was okay, I guess. I don't know. I'm just the build was horrible, but I went. To be honest, there was a few reasons why I went. One is because the atmosphere is different from watching it at home and then going to the show. You've been to a few of them here in Toronto, but
I was at X8, and I've been to a few live events too. The only WrestleMania I've been to was X8, but I used to go to a bunch of WWE house shows when they would come here more frequently. So
yeah, but it's a different atmosphere. And to be honest, the biggest reason I wanted to go is because my cousin, who happens to be one of your best friends, you guys are a lot older than me. Well, you guys are what, like 6-7 years older than me, something like that. And he's been to 6 WrestleManias, and he couldn't come this year. And the last 2 years he came was just so that he can stay one up on me. But now I tied him, and I'm happy about that.
So really, you going into this WrestleMania because of the shitty build-up, your only drive-in point to actually go this year was to outdo Whiten and to tie him for the number of WrestleManias that you two have been to.
Yeah, pretty much. Well, there was that, and like I said, going to the show is a lot better than watching it at home. And being there in San Jose was actually really fun. You know, it's not just the one night thing; it's a whole week thing going there. And I got there the Friday, and it was nonstop. Since I got there that Friday, it was nonstop of different things I was doing.
How much of the Fan Access stuff did you get to do?
I didn't go to Fan Access. I've never actually been to Fan Access. I don't really care for it. You know, it's not something that I really wanted to do. Although this time I kind of wanted to, and I'm a little disappointed I didn't, just because they had the Elimination Chamber there. And that's actually one of my favorite matches, and I'm so pissed off that they didn't do it again this year.
Well, I remember I actually did go to the Fan Access back when WrestleMania was last year in Toronto, back in 2002 for WrestleMania X8. My greatest memory of the Fan Access experience was one of the first superstars of the day that was signing autographs was Chris Jericho. Oh, nice. So, of course, as soon as the doors opened, everyone immediately ran to get into the line to get the Chris Jericho autographs. And he was only signing, the lineup was huge, and he was only signing for about 45 minutes to an hour. Unfortunately, even though I was in line, I didn't get a chance to get his autograph. I was about 10 people away from getting his autograph. There were 10 people left ahead of me in line by the time his session was up. And then they pulled Chris Jericho away and brought Jazz in. And this huge lineup of including myself, the people in front of me, and everyone behind me. Everyone just immediately left as soon as they pulled Chris Jericho and brought in Jazz. I've never seen people desert something more quickly. It was hilarious, and that was my best memory of Fan Access.
I think the only time I've ever seen people do something like that was I was trying to go to a concert here in Toronto that was a unknown concert. Like, it was a known concert, but the artist would not tell you the time or the location of it until a couple hours beforehand, and he would, like, tweet it out. So people had found...
What the fuck does he... Who does he fucking think he is? Nick and Nora's Infinite Playlist? Jesus fucking Christ.
Hey, you know what? it was $1 to get into this concert, so most people are probably going to know it was called $1 in a Dream Tour, so people will know who it is then. However... people had heard it was at this one place, so that's where we went. And then when it was officially announced on Twitter where it was, you just see people scatter, run to get into their cars, run to catch a cab, because it was about 20 minutes away from where we were. And
but see, at least in that case, people were scattering to still see the person and not scattering because they didn't like the person, as was the case with people leaving the Jazz autograph session.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, that's true. My favorite thing from Access, I didn't go to Access, but I went to the store, which is pretty much at Access. You just can't go past, like, the one part. You have to have an actual ticket. But all they did was fucking play music the whole time of different wrestlers. Like, you heard it because I called you to see if you wanted a shirt.
Yeah, it was different theme entrances.
It was ridiculous. But the best thing about Access that I found out about it was a fan actually climbed up the chamber side on the outside and climbed over the whole top thing. And someone's recording it at the very end when the guy's getting down. I'll hear, "I hope it was worth it since you're getting kicked out, buddy." It was pretty funny.
I want to know how they didn't stop him from getting to the cage in the first place. Yeah,
that's a good question, actually. I don't even know what they did. All I know is there is video out there of him climbing the whole cage. You see him going up one side, over top, and then climbing back down. Hey, I would do it too. If I was getting at the very end, if I had done all my access shit that I really wanted to do, very last day, sure, why the hell not? I'm getting kicked out anyways.
I think if I did it, it would have to depend on who was in the match.
There wasn't even a match going on.
Oh, it was just the cage was set up. No one was actually.
The cage was set up throughout all of Access, and you could actually get in the ring and get into the pods and like take pictures. And sometimes there would be some superstars there. I think I saw some superstars in there taking pictures with fans. But that's what I would like, because I think that is my favorite match besides the Royal Rumble itself.
Is the Elimination Chamber?
Yeah, the Elimination Chamber. It's just a great match. It's a really good match.
It was a really... I remember when they first came up with the concept. It was a really, really good concept. I haven't seen an Elimination Chamber match in years, but I remember being a fan of it when they first introduced it, back when I was still originally watching wrestling before I took a long hiatus away from it.
Yeah, when did they bring that out? What, 2002? SummerSlam? 2002, I think, right?
Somewhere around there, yeah. 2002 or 2003, yeah.
No, it was definitely at least 2002, because I think that was when Shawn Michaels won it. He was the first one to ever win it. It was right after he came back from his back injury.
One of his many back injuries.
Well, the one that was supposed to keep him out forever, but he defies laws, just comes back. Mr. WrestleMania, Shawn Michaels. But
speaking of Mr. WrestleMania, Josh.
Yes.
You were there. There was the pre-show before the actual main event.
You didn't see that, right?
No, I didn't see any of the pre-show. I just watched the main show of WrestleMania. But basically, the main show, the pre-show rather. It was a Fatal 4-Way tag match.
Yeah, there was two matches. The first one was the Fatal 4-Way for the tag team title. It was the Usos versus who was it? Fernando and the other Spanish guy, the Los Matadores, versus the New Day and the champions.
Sucks.
Versus the champions Tyson Kidd and Cesaro. Everybody came out with a third person, right? They all have a third person to that team, the New Day.
So there are other sort of group members.
Yeah. So right away, I think it was Cesaro and Kidd, they took out Jay or Jimmy. One of them was actually injured. And one of the Usos was actually injured, Jay or Jimmy. And they didn't even know if he was going to be able to compete, but they gave him the go-ahead. And then they grabbed him and threw him into the barricade, and they took him out of the match. So it was 2 versus 2 versus 2 versus 1. But all in all, it was a good match. Good spots. These guys always perform really well. And the win came with, what's his name? Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't remember what his name was, and I have it written. I know who won the match.
Cesaro and Kidd.
It was Cesaro and Kidd who got the win after Big E hit a splash or something like that. Went for the cover, but Cesaro tagged him, threw him out, got the pin, 1, 2, 3, and still champions was Cesaro and Tyson Kidd. Pretty good match.
Yeah, unfortunately I didn't get a chance to see it, and the live stream that I was watching on didn't offer a replay on it afterwards. But it sounded like a good match, and following that, the second pre-WrestleMania match was the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, the second annual Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal.
Yeah, that was actually really interesting because they said there was only going to be about 20 people in this, and I didn't even count how many people, but I'm pretty sure there was a lot more than 20. There's got to be at least 30 people in that match.
Yeah, I heard that basically everyone that had just taken part in the Fatal 4-Way tag team match ended up being part of the Battle Royal as well.
Yeah, every single one of them. So that's at least 7 people there. And then there was the big names, Big Show, Kane, Ryback, Axelmania, Curtis Axel, who's the shitty tag team from NXT that are up there now?
Lucha Dragons?
No, not them. I said the shitty one, not the ones who could actually wrestle. The Ascension, they were in that.
Oh, Legion of Doom 3.0?
Yeah, they think they fucking suck, but whatever.
I haven't actually seen one of their, I think I saw they were in a match, the Raw after WrestleMania, but I really didn't pay too much attention to them.
They were? Yeah, they got the shit beat out of them by the Lucha Dragons.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, okay,
yeah.
Fuck, I should know that I was there.
Yeah, that was the that was the 8-man tag where Ascension teamed with Cesaro and Kidd, and it was Lucha Dragons versus I can't even remember, maybe New Day.
Yeah, the Lucha Dragons and the New Day, and that was great that night because they started doing their chant, New Day, and they started doing their dun dun dun, and we started New Day sucks, New Day sucks. It was pretty funny because they would stop chanting and look around like, what the hell, right? It was pretty good. But back to the Honor the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, it actually had one of our favorite guys. Well, I know he's one of my favorites.
No, I really like him too. Hideo Itami was representing NXT.
He won a tournament through Access to get into the Battle Royal, and like I said, one of my favorites, one of your favorites. NXT is just, it's great. A little surprising. Thought they would have put Neville in there instead, or even Balor. I was a little shocked that they went with Hideo Itami.
Well, I was shocked that they also included Sin Cara and Alex Riley. I mean, I know both of them have been on the WWE main roster before, but I think a lot of people currently associate them with NXT. And going into this Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, they were really pushing that only one guy would represent NXT, and you ended up having basically three people who are currently who at the time were currently NXT wrestlers in the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal. But the big one in there was Hideo Itami, who eventually would be eliminated by the Big Show.
Yeah, but he did have a good showing in that match because he was in there for a good at least 5 minutes or so, and then he got a spot where Bo Dallas returning from injury. You haven't seen him in forever, and what does he get? He gets the pre-show Battle Royal. But whatever, it's okay. He comes out, and I think Bo Dallas eliminated someone. I don't remember who it was. He eliminated someone, started running around the ring, chanting, yeah, Bo leave, Bo leave. He gets in the ring, and then Tommy just lays into him, kicks, hits, throws him out. He's cheering, turns around, Big Show grabs him. But before Big Show even grabs him, he starts punching, starts fighting. Nah, he's not going to happen. Big Show throws him out. It was good, but one of the best parts of that was the opening segment. As soon as they're all in, Curtis Axel rips off his shirt like he's Hulk Hogan, Axelmania saying he's so in, and the whole crowd just grabs him. And they start crowd surfing him from one end of the ring to the other and then throw them out again. But it was good.
I really like this whole Axelmania angle that he has. This whole sort of ripping off Hulk Hogan gimmick that he has going on right now.
Yeah.
I was watching SmackDown this past week, and I noticed he still had the Axelmania wrestling shorts on. He has the Axelmania red and yellow Hulk Hogan-esque shirt. And now he's calling Extreme Rules Axtreme Rules. I really like this Curtis Axel gimmick right now.
It's given him something to do, and people are actually liking it. I have always thought Curtis Axel was he's a good talent. He's great. He just got stuck with some stupid gimmicks sometimes and some stupid people. Like, he got stuck one time with fucking Ryback, who I'm going to tell you right now, I absolutely hate that son of a bitch. Guy cannot wrestle at all. I don't understand where people are actually, cheering for him now. That's a little strange to me, but yeah, he got stuck with him. Did you ever see that? You know what they were called, their tag team?
No.
Rybaxel. Rybaxel. You know how bad of a name that is?
That is a terrible name. Was that when they were being managed by Heyman?
You know what? I think so. That might have been exactly what that was. But
so I haven't watched much wrestling, but I do know that Heyman was managing them at one point.
Yeah, at one point Heyman was taking on a few 3-4 people between the two of them. Cesaro, he's always been with Brock Lesnar, and he was with Punk too. But it is what it is. We keep getting sidetracked with that match. Who cares? But, it was a good match. Turns out that Damien Sandow or Damien Mizdow and The Miz broke up at that point. I didn't even
know about this gimmick. Like I said, I hadn't watched any of the build-up going into this. But the whole aftermath of this Mizdow and Miz thing, with Mizdow eliminating The Miz from the Battle Royal, I really love this. I hope WWE doesn't screw up this angle, because it seems to be a good thing right now. I don't know how long they can play it out, but I'm really enjoying it.
It is good because, Damien Sandow, he's a phenomenal wrestler too. He's really good, and what he's been doing lately with how you haven't seen it, when he was actually the stunt double of The Miz, when The Miz would be in a match, he would be doing whatever The Miz was doing on the outside of the ring. So if he got knocked down, he would fall down as if he had gotten knocked down as well. It was actually really good. But to the end of the Battle Royal, Miz gets thrown out by Damien Mizdow, and then Mizdow almost wins it. You think he's going to win it. It's left between him and Big Show. Big Show goes to throw him out, and Damien gets him in a headlock that, you look at it, it's the same headlock that Chris Benoit did to him at the Royal Rumble in 2004 to eliminate him and win. So I thought, hey, maybe he can do it. But no, they ended up giving the win to Big Show, which is, I guess, okay, it's Big Show, whatever.
I mean, I don't think a lot of people were fans of it, but really, I heard it brought up somewhere else. I think it might have been the guys on the Law talking about it. But really, how often do you actually see the big men winning these battle royals, like these monsters like Kane and Big Show? They're always the ones that are hyped up by the announcers, obviously, because of their size, but they very rarely end up winning these battle royals, and these are sort of matches that are built for them where they can just run through and destroy everyone. So as much as everyone sort of seems to dislike the fact that the Big Show won, it was also kind of a nice change of pace to see them actually have a big man wrestler win the battle royal.
I mean, yeah, I guess so in that sense, yeah. But it doesn't. I mean, if you're gonna give it to Big Show, it's fine. It doesn't really matter to me because really, if they'd done it last year and he'd won the very first one, then maybe they would have made something out of it. But coming out of last year's, you had Cesaro. He won that. He won the very first one, and they did nothing with him. He got a small push as soon as he won it, and that was it. They didn't give him nothing. So it really doesn't mean anything. It's not like if it was a Money in the Bank ladder match like they used to do at WrestleMania. Not anymore.
Yeah, I mean, they in the aftermath of Big Show winning, they really seem to be pushing this angle of him promoting himself as the greatest giant in the history of wrestling, with Big Show basically declaring himself greater than Andre the Giant. Again, it's an angle that I don't know how far you can push, but I think right now it's an interesting angle, and we'll see where it goes.
It's interesting, and it gets him over as a heel, so let's let him do that. But I think we're good for the pre-show. Now let's get on to the main show of WrestleMania 31.
The meat and potatoes of WrestleMania 31.
The Super Bowl of wrestling, WrestleMania 31, or WrestleMania play button as it looks like this year. And what
was the play button ever explained? Did anyone ever come up with an explanation as to what the play button logo was all about? Because I know next year is WrestleMania 32, and it's from Texas. It's going to be in the home of the Dallas Cowboys, and the logo for next year is obviously
WrestleMania star.
Yeah, it's the Dallas Cowboys star logo. So I get that logo, but from what I could see, there was really nothing associated with San Francisco and the logo for this year, except I believe the headquarters for YouTube is somewhere in that area, so maybe that was what the play button was all about, but I haven't really heard an explanation as to what the play button logo was all about.
I haven't heard anything about the play button. I've heard about why it doesn't say WrestleMania 31, or even for next year where it doesn't say WrestleMania 32. What I've read online was that Vince does not want to put the WrestleMania and the number there because he feels that it's old. It makes it seem old and outdated. But I don't think that's true. I think putting the number is like, it's a good thing. You're saying, look at how many years we've been doing this because you only do it once. Like, look at the Super Bowl. They're going to what? Super Bowl, 50?
50 next year. And if I'm not mistaken, I think the Super Bowl is trying to phase out the Roman numerals as well. But yeah, no, I've always liked the Roman numeral. I mean, they have changed it up in the past and experimented a little bit.
Like X7 and stuff, yeah.
Yeah, X7, X8, WrestleMania 2000, where it just said WrestleMania 2000 instead of what number of WrestleMania it actually was.
What was that, 16? Yeah, that would have been 16,
yeah.
I think, yeah.
Yeah, and that was obviously back in 2000. X8 was 2002, so yeah, WrestleMania 2000 would have been WrestleMania 16.
Yeah.
But I've always enjoyed the Roman numerals, so...
I like the number. I think putting the number there makes it feel like it's something special. Oh, shit, there goes my mic. I caught it. It's all good. But I like it. I like the numbers. Like, look at UFC. UFC, when they hit UFC 100, that was a big deal, right? It was a big deal, and they had big matches for that card. Like, they had the former champion now of WWE, Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar versus Frank Mir, Michael Bisping versus Dan Henderson, with still one of the most vicious fucking knockouts I've ever seen, and one of my all-time favorite knockouts. Yeah. There was also Thiago Alves versus George St. Pierre. But yeah, big card, and UFC does push their big numbers. Like, at some point this year or early next year, we should be hitting UFC 200. I'm sure there's going to be big hype going into that one. So yeah, I like the idea of numbers with things like WrestleMania, but at the same time, I think the logo idea can work if it has something to do with the place that they are. Like the Dallas Cowboys star logo works next year. I don't think anyone had any idea what the play button meant this year. You would have had to Google. You would have had to pretty much Google to find out that YouTube headquarters was in the area, and even at that, it's just It's just guessing that that's what the play button was all about. So I think if the logo actually makes sense to the venue, I think it could be a good thing. But this year's was just terrible because it was unexplainable.
Yeah, I didn't understand it. Doesn't matter. It's over with. We're done with the WrestleMania play button. It's done and gone. But let's get to the actual show. Let's get to the matches. It was a surprisingly really good show, considering the build was so bad. It was actually one of my favorite WrestleManias. Probably one of my top 3 that I've seen. Probably top 3 definitely that I've seen live and that I've actually watched, because I've watched every WrestleMania back. And, tonight we started with the Intercontinental ladder match with 7 people in that match. We had
because the WWE apparently likes to have all their Battle Royal matches right up front. You had the 8-man tag team match.
Yep.
Then you had like the 20 to 30-man Battle Royal. And now you have the 7-man ladder match to decide the new Intercontinental Champion. So
I mean, yeah. When you look at it that way, it's like, Jesus, get them all out of the way. But what sucks, what's really stupid about it, too, is that the first person to come out for this match is Daniel Bryan, and you have the whole crowd chanting, yes, yes, yes. And then you hear JBL or Cole, one of them was saying, oh, we're going to start WrestleMania off the way we ended it last year with the yes movement. That's not a good thing. That is really not a good thing to be saying.
Also, really, the yes movement sort of started the year before at WrestleMania, did it not?
It started a little bit before. That's how he got into the main event for WrestleMania 30, was he did a Occupy
But
Raw.
wasn't there sort of a small yes movement at WrestleMania 29 with Daniel Bryan?
If you really want to talk about it, you go back all the way to WrestleMania 28, not even 29, 28.
Yeah, so I mean, it's really been a couple of years for the Daniel Bryan yes movement, so it's not really...
And to that fact, even Daniel Bryan, it's not the first time that he has started WrestleMania. He started WrestleMania 28 in that 18-second world title match where I didn't even get to see it because I had just shown up to the stadium, go to the washroom, and as I'm in the washroom, the match is over. What just happened? I didn't even know what happened. He started WrestleMania 20. He even started WrestleMania 30. He was in the first match against Triple H to decide who would go to the main event.
To make it a triple threat match.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's not the first time he started it, but still not a good way to position one of your top baby faces. It's what I see, what I think. But, the other people in this match was R-Truth, Stardust for some odd reason. I don't understand why he was in that match.
Wade Barrett, because he was the champion going in.
Luke Harper, Dean Ambrose, and one of my favorites, Dolph Ziggler and Daniel Bryan. 2 of them. It was a pretty good match, I think.
Yeah, I
spots.
mean, the spots were pretty amazing. At one point, Dean Ambrose took a vicious power bomb from Luke Harper onto the ladder. I think the ladder even broke.
Oh yeah, it broke in half.
It snapped in half.
I'm not sure if I didn't see. It looked like he was holding his head and doctors coming out with towels. Maybe he actually busted himself open his head. I don't know, but it was a good match. There was a spot where what was his name? Stardust was up top and Barrett grabbed him and did a suplex off the top.
Oh yeah. I forgot about that. That was a good spot. Yeah.
It just looked like Barrett died. Barrett's the one who did the move to Stardust, but Barrett, when he comes down, he does a whole flip over and he looked like he died. But it was that was good. Another couple things is what was his name? Barrett again hit a whole bunch of bull hammers. Yeah, one to Dolph Ziggler when he was coming off the top of the ladder, just hit him with the bull hammer, and again Ziggler looked like he died. He was just knocked out cold.
I think the only one that truly pretty much came close to death in that one was Ambrose. That goofy motherfucker got thrown through that ladder fucking hard.
He did. It was an amazing spot to see, and
I don't know how he made it to Raw the next night.
To wrestle against John Cena the next night, that was something.
Honestly, when I saw that spot in WrestleMania of him going through the ladder, I'm like, okay, he's going to be out for at least a week. Like, that's going to fucking kill him.
Yeah.
But he actually made it to Raw the next night, so good on Dean Ambrose. It was just a really wicked-looking spot.
It was a good spot, good match. Finish came with Ziggler and Bryan on the top of the ladders trying to get the belt, and then they each started headbutting each other to the point where Bryan got the upper hand, headbutted him a couple more times. He fell down. Bryan reached up, grabbed the title, took it down, and there we go.
New Intercontinental Champion.
New Intercontinental Champion. Yes movement, still alive and well. I was there chanting yes with the rest of the crowd. And this actually makes Daniel Bryan, I think, the sixth person.
Sixth or seventh to win the WWE Triple Crown of having the
the Grand Slam, not even Triple Crown, Grand Slam of the tag team, the Intercontinental title, the United States Championship, and the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, as those are the only 4 current titles in the WWE. It was good to see it.
Good to see it. I just I think, like a lot of people, I wish they would push Daniel Bryan as a main eventer. He had that tremendous win last year at WrestleMania. Unfortunately, he got injured and had to take a lot of time off to recover, and he had to forfeit the heavyweight championship. And I think a lot of people were expecting to see him pushed into the main event again this year, and it unfortunately didn't happen. And this, in a lot of ways, sort of seems like a consolation prize, sort of like the WWE saying, okay, well, we're not going to push Bryan in the main event, but here you go, we're still going to put a championship around him.
Yeah, but it also makes sense because later on you'll find out with another person winning a United States Championship. Oh, fuck it, whatever. John Cena wins the United States Championship. We'll still cover that match later. But regardless, you just put your 2 secondary titles on your top 2 baby faces besides Brock Lesnar, and it's a good thing if you can see them to elevate these titles, make them mean something, not some stupid little championship. Sometimes people get these titles and it means nothing anymore, but now with the 2 top baby faces holding that titles, I think it's a good idea. I think it's a great idea to have those guys have it. That's what I think.
We'll see how it goes. Right now, they're sort of pushing both Cena and Bryan on the television side, promoting them as fight-in champions, willing to take on all comers for their titles.
Yeah.
So it'll be interesting to see where it goes with this. Obviously, well, we'll talk about it more when we get to the United States Championship match, but up next, I believe, was Randy Orton versus Seth Rollins.
Yep, the future versus the, what was it? Was it the now? Because remember, he was the future at one point.
Randy Orton,
when he first came in. Now it's the new future, I guess, versus the other future, whatever. It was actually a phenomenal match. Really good. That's what I expected. This match was going to be probably almost the show stealer because these 2 guys can work. One of my favorite live matches I've ever seen was Seth Rollins, when his name was Tyler Black back in Ring of Honor here in Toronto, he was defending his Ring of Honor championship against Davey Richards, and it still is one of my favorite matches I've ever seen live. But this was a good match. Had some pretty good spots.
The finishing spot was just beautiful. Like, just talking about it isn't even going to do it justice. If you haven't seen the finishing spot of Randy Orton hitting the RKO on Seth Rollins, you need to. It's going to be all over the internet. You need to find a clip of it because it's phenomenal.
It is definitely, if not the first, second best RKO I've ever seen. It's definitely in my top 3. The other ones is there was one time when I don't know if you know him. His name was Evan Bourne. Went for the shooting star press, and when he jumped off the top rope, Orton jumped up and grabbed him in midair from the shooting star press
and RKO'd him.
And then the second one of the other ones that I like is one time they were in a tables match, him and John Cena, and Cena went for the FU or AA, whatever the hell it's called. I hate that stupid name. I'm calling it the FU because that's what it was when I started watching
Goddamn PG WWE.
Exactly. Fuck them. Anyways, this is not a PG show. I don't give a fuck. So he went for the FU to Orton through the table, but Orton grabbed him and hit the RKO through the table, and Orton won that. But this one was phenomenal.
Seth Rollins went for the curb stomp. He got great elevation to jump up and to try and hit the curb stomp on Orton. And just out of nowhere, Randy Orton just gets up, catches Seth in midair, and nails him with the RKO for the victory. It was just a thing of pure fucking beauty.
It was really good. I'm seeing that live and then replaying it, I was like, wow, this is pretty fucking amazing. This is why I wanted to come to WrestleMania. It was a good match. It was a little shocking that he had won, that Orton had won that match, because I actually thought it was going to be Seth going over in that match. But in hindsight of seeing what actually happened,
which we'll cover in a few minutes,
it makes sense as to why Rollins did not win that match. But it was really good. So that was good. The finish was phenomenal. You really need to go see that if you haven't done it. Next up was a match that I thought was going to be a little bit later on in the night. Didn't think that was going to be the third match on the card. But it was night, day, whatever. It was Triple H versus Sting in Sting's very first ever WWE match.
Basically another way for the WWE to sort of rub the demise of WCW in everyone's face. This was sort of the face of WCW. Sting taking on now is it COO or CEO of WWE?
COO, he's the Chief Operating Officer.
Yeah, so basically the COO of WWE, Triple H. It started off being a really good match, and then it just got all kinds of fucking crazy and nostalgia filled for 90s wrestling fans.
Yes, definitely. The nostalgia in this match was great. So, coming out the match, we didn't even talk about the entrances. The entrances were pretty cool, I think, some of them at least. Undertaker's, not even get to Undertaker yet. Sting entrance, he had like some live band type thing with the drums and everything. Everybody's face painted up like Sting too. It was pretty cool. And then Triple H
doing his best Arnold Schwarzenegger impression, coming out as the Terminator.
I know, you really did not like that.
I thought it was cheesy. I thought it was stupid. I'm also not a fan of... I mean, I get why they did it with Arnold going into the Hall of Fame this year, which I'm fucking not a fan of at all. I don't understand why Arnold Schwarzenegger is in the WWE Hall of Fame. But I just didn't like the Triple H entrance. I thought it was cheesy, and I thought it was lame.
I liked it. I'm not going to lie. I liked it, and the crowd really liked it. It was pretty cool because, if you haven't seen it, Triple H came out, but before that, there was a whole bunch of Terminators coming up. Even Arnold did a little segment into it on this video screen saying WrestleMania game on, and that's when Triple H comes up through like a hole inside the stage. And he comes up, he's got this huge thing, and how he has that skull thing that he's done a few times, right? but this time it's all metallic, and then
the face skull mask.
Yeah, it's all metallic, so he looks like he's a cyborg from the Terminator, and then in his hands he's got he's holding up different like heads as if he killed the Terminators, drops them, comes out. I liked it. I thought it was pretty cool. So did the live crowd, but some people didn't like it. But whatever, teach their own.
Some people are right, and then there are thousands of people that were wrong.
Oh man, all right, I'll give you that. You always say that. Anyways, the match.
The thoughts of the one outweigh the thoughts and opinions of the many. I learned that from Star Trek, or something to that effect.
I don't think that's what it was, but
I'm going with it. I'll
let you have that one. You heard it from Star Trek, or did you hear it from Whiten? Because that's something Whiten would say.
No, I'm pretty sure it was Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan near the end. Yeah, it was Spock. He said the thoughts and opinions of the one outweigh the thoughts and opinions of the many. It's sound logic. It's how I've lived my life ever since I've watched that movie.
Yeah, that sounds like you. That makes so much sense now. About you, that makes a lot of sense. But the match itself, not the best technical match. But what do you expect? Like,
really, I don't think many people expected it to be. I mean, Sting's in his 50s now. I don't think
still looks good though.
Yeah, surprisingly he did. But I don't think many people really knew what to expect from Sting wrestling wise coming into this. And I thought he looked good. The match wasn't the greatest, as you said, but I still thought that Sting, for being in his 50s, did a tremendous job with what he was working with.
It was good. I have no complaints. It was a interesting match. Triple H versus Sting. The best parts about it was the nostalgia, because at one point when I think he had him in, I think Sting had Triple H in the Scorpion Deathlock, and all you hear is
the DX theme music.
Break it down, and then DX runs to the ring. But DX,
we should hang on.
What were you gonna say?
I was gonna say we should note that it was Road Dogg.
Billy Gunn.
What they're calling B.A. Billy Gunn, because they can't call him Badass in the PG era, but Badass Billy Gunn and X-Pac came down to the ring.
Yeah.
So they were representing DX.
The three of them representing DX. They run down to the ring. They sprint to the ring. Before they could even get into the ring, though, Sting knocks them all down, throws Triple H out into them, and then does a dive off the top rope, takes them all out. So okay. Then did you notice that this match was actually? At first, it was just supposed to be a regular match, but right before the match was started, Lillian Garcia announced that this match must be won by pinfall or submission. So it became a no disqualification match. Did you catch that?
Well, I didn't know. Like I said, previously I hadn't really watched any of the build up going into this match. So when the match started, I just heard that it was a no DQ match. So I didn't know that it wasn't supposed to be a no DQ match. So yeah.
Plans just got changed right at the beginning of the match, but I was like, you know what, whatever. It should have clicked in my mind that some people are going to run down. But later on, as DX is trying to help out Triple H to win that match, you hear the NWO music hit, and out walks, not runs like Triple H, they walked their sweet ass down to the ring, was Hollywood Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, and the new Hall of Famer Kevin Nash, and it was good. They
came out to help Sting, and like we said to kick off the show, you were there live, and I was watching at home, and I texted you as this was happening. And I'm like, this is all points of fucked up at this point. I have no idea what, because here's the thing: in WCW, NWO were the good guy, were the bad guys until they branched off and did 36 separate NWO factions with the Wolfpack, the Latino World Order, and all the other mini ripoffs that they decided to do.
The Blue World Order.
that was more ECW, and WCW tried to sue them for that, but ECW claimed parody under copyright laws, so ECW won out on that one. But basically, NWO were the bad guys of WCW, and they were always attacking Sting. Not only that, but you have Hall and Nash.
We're like Triple H's best friends.
Yeah, and And everyone at this point in time knows that. And yet they come out to represent WCW and help out Sting. It made no fucking logical sense. They just sort of did it to have a nostalgia angle and, again, to have the whole WCW versus WWE thing that they didn't get a chance to do in their prime when everyone wished they could have seen DX square off against NWO back in the 90s.
That's true, but what's so dumb about that as well is that Sting said, I know you haven't seen it, but Sting said on Raw, like the week before or 2 weeks before, I'm not here to fight for WCW. I'm just here to take out Triple H. I'm not here to fight WCW. That would be stupid. So why did you make it WCW versus WWE again?
Well, to be fair, Sting didn't make it that way. Vince made it that way because Vince likes to flaunt the fact that he buried WCW.
Yeah, I guess so. But
I don't think Sting had any real say in the matter.
No, you know what's the one thing that I did notice and that I heard about it that Sting asked for was the referee. The referee in the match was Charles Robinson. I think that's his name. He was actually a WCW ref, one of Sting's friends. So
yeah, I remember him best in WCW as Lil Nate because for a time there he was like Ric Flair's personal ref and he was like dressing like Flair. He had his hair cut like Flair, and they called him Lil Nate, and that's one of the things that I'll remember most about him.
Yeah. Well, back to the match. It was shocking because Hogan actually took a bump. I was a little shocked about that. I'm like, wait, why is Hogan taking a bump? That wasn't even the worst part. Is like at one point, Nash got taken down, and he went and he grabbed his knee. I'm like, oh great, did he just tear his quad again? No, he was just after rewatching it, he was just fixing his brace. But I was like, oh god, not again. And then Scott Hall actually took a back body drop, and I've heard from a few people that he had just gotten, well, I don't know, but he has a new hip. He got a hip replacement, and this guy's taking a back body drop. I don't think that's something you should be doing when you're that into.
Yeah, I mean, Hall, Hogan, and Nash, for guys in like their mid-90s, I was surprised that they took bumps.
I was really shocked about that. And then that wasn't the end of surprise guests. There was one more person that came out, and that would be Mr. WrestleMania himself, HBK, the showstopper. Shawn Michaels came out, dressed in DX gear, but I don't even know where he showed up from. He must have showed up from the crowd from somewhere. Jumps in the ring and gives Sting a nice sweet chin music.
Yeah, Sting at that point, Sting had Triple H in the Scorpion Deathlock, and Shawn Michaels came out, sweet chin music to him. Triple H ended up getting the pin and the victory, and once again, Vince McMahon buries WCW.
Well, yes and no. He hit the sweet chin music, but he still kicked out after that. It was actually Triple H grabbed the sledgehammer.
Yes.
And then
I forgot about the sledgehammer spot.
Scott Hall actually gave the bat to Sting. Sting broke Triple H's sledgehammer, hit him with a Stinger splash in the corner. Went for a second one, but Triple H grabbed the sledgehammer, the little piece of the sledgehammer, knocked him in the head, and then got the pinfall. And then that's when you hear JBL saying, "Well, we beat WCW again, just like we did in the 90s." Like, what? Why? Vince is so petty. He's got to keep getting that over. We get it. You won. You're over. Shut up.
I think at one point in the match, JBL on commentary even compared like WCW to like the Titanic.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, JBL was doing his best to bury WCW on commentary all throughout that match. And, I mean, Vince is in these guys' ears while they're doing commentary. He's in the back basically giving them instructions on what to say. So Vince really wanted to rub it in people's faces that he buried WCW and he'll bury all of their wrestlers that have worked for him.
That's true, but at least at the very end of the match, you have Triple H and Sting talking, shaking hands, and it looks like it's over. Do we see Sting again? I kind of hope so. Maybe next year or WrestleMania again.
Can I just say that spot of them shaking hands, while a nice sentiment, made absolutely zero sense later on in WrestleMania, and we'll get to that in a bit. But it ended up making 0 sense, like, about 45 minutes later.
I totally agree. It didn't make any sense. However, we move on, and the next thing is actually not even a match. The next segment is the concert portion of WrestleMania
with my girl Skylar Grey,
which is where I say this WrestleMania is now brought to you by tattoos, because man, I've actually never seen Skylar Grey perform before. I think she can sing. She's great. I didn't really like her too much.
She's terrific live.
I didn't get that feeling this time. Being there live and watching her sing live, I didn't get that. Like, I like her.
I thought it came across well on the TV broadcast, but it seemed like the audience was really dead throughout the performance.
Because you know what, when we're there, we want to see the matches. We want to see wrestling. We're not there for a concert, and that's what it is. It's hard to get that over, to get a concert over and big guys over.
Well, it's also in an open-air stadium, so I don't know how good the acoustics sound live.
I'm not going to lie, it did not sound that great. Like, I've gone back and I've actually rewatched that part, and it was pretty good on TV, but being there live, I wasn't a fan of it. I'm a fan of hers, but I'm not a fan of the next guy. Kid Ink? Who the hell's Kid Ink? Never even heard of that guy before.
Yeah, I didn't really like that. Because, I mean, really, when going into WrestleMania, because I not having watched any of the Raws or SmackDowns, but watching NXT, they pushed WrestleMania on there. And every time they showed an ad for WrestleMania, it was the Skylar Grey and David Guetta song.
Which is one of the other reasons why I wanted to go to WrestleMania. I told you about that. That song and the video package was phenomenal, made me want to go again.
But that was the only song that they were using to promote WrestleMania. And then all of a sudden you had Kid Cudi coming out to perform.
Kid Ink, if it was Kid Cudi, I would have been like, all right, this is kind of cool, but
I'm sorry, there are too many kid rappers these days.
Well, look at how many there used to be, like, little, like there was like
Lil Bow Wow, Lil Romeo, Oh shit, I forgot about Lil Romeo. Holy fuck! What? Oh god. Fucking terrible. But yeah, like, I don't recall seeing a single ad which featured a Kid Ink song, but they had him out there to perform, and I didn't really much care for his performance, but you know, they had to try to push the concert a little bit for time purposes.
Yeah, they really had to delay some of the stuff because they had to get some of it to get darker, so for the Undertaker's entrance and stuff like that, right? But and
it still wasn't completely dark by the time Undertaker's match started. But yeah, even on Twitter, as I was watching WrestleMania and reading people's reactions to it on Twitter, a lot of people were saying, okay, you know, you can tell the WWE is just stalling at this point to try and beat out the sunset so Taker can come out in complete darkness.
There was a few segments like that, but I'm thinking, if you want to do that, why did you not put one of the Battle Royale, the Under the Giant, why didn't you put that on the regular show? I don't know why they left it off if they're going to have some time filler with this stupid concert. But, you know, whatever. On to the next match. It was the next match was not.
It was the Divas one.
Yeah. So I was gonna say it's not a great match, but it has two of my favorite wrestlers.
It was the Bellas versus AJ Lee and Paige.
And oh man, Paige, gorgeous. She comes out to the thing, and the crowd, myself included, is singing her song with her. It was pretty awesome. And even later on, when you see her, she actually tweeted out something saying, oh man, going out to see WrestleMania, because this is her first WrestleMania being on the show, because she debuted the night after WrestleMania last year on Raw, and she was like, she said something along about it's amazing to hear the crowd chanting, singing my song along with me while I'm walking to the ring. And Paige worked most of that match against Brie and Nikki, because every time that AJ would get up to the ring, Brie or Nikki would just go and knock her back down to the outside.
Yeah, I mean, apparently my online feed really hates Divas matches, because my feed actually cut out during this match. I remember texting you, asking you to tell me what was going on, because my feed cut out.
Yeah.
And then the next night when I was watching Raw live online, my feed cut out again during the Divas match. So apparently my feed just doesn't want to show me like the Bella's Divas matches.
I mean that could be a good thing because I mean you didn't miss much on Raw, although you did miss some great chants on Raw. That was pretty fun when we were chanting stupid shit to the Bellas because they suck. But whatever. Paige is working that match pretty well. She finally gets a hot tag to AJ. And AJ comes in, she goes for her submission move on Nikki, but Brie knocks her out. But then Paige comes in, super kicks her. Brie and Paige go to the outside. Nikki comes in, and AJ runs off the ropes, grabs her into the Black Widow. I think it's called the Black Widow. Black Widow submission hold, and Nikki taps out.
And your winners are AJ and Paige.
Yep, which would be AJ's last WrestleMania moment, as later on in that week on the Friday.
Second last match.
And AJ retires.
Yeah, she ended up retiring on the Friday after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
Caught everyone by surprise. There's a whole bunch of sort of internet speculation going on about why she retired. I mean,
what is your official speculation?
My very first speculation, and I texted you this, so you can vouch for this. Is I'm like, I guarantee you right now, AJ is probably pregnant. But yeah, my first reaction was like, I have a feeling that AJ is pregnant. I don't know why. I just had a gut feeling, and then a couple of days later, after I gave you my theory on it. That theory popped up on the internet because there's a picture of her with Bayley before WrestleMania, and Bayley basically alluded to AJ possibly being pregnant.
Yeah, that might be what it is. I'm not sure.
Again, it's all speculation at this point. I mean, I was shocked when she announced her retirement, but at the same time, I'm kind of shocked that she didn't announce it earlier. As most wrestling fans know, AJ is married to CM Punk, who had a bad break from WWE when he left the company or was fired from the company. And I'm kind of
fired on his wedding day.
On his wedding day to AJ Lee.
Wow. That's another story.
So I was kind of surprised that AJ didn't sort of step away from the company earlier, but yeah, I wish AJ all the best in whatever she decides to do moving forward.
Yeah, it's sad because she was one of my favorites. She was the only reason I ever got Twitter in the first place. Was I signed up when she was on the NXT when they were doing the reality type thing, and it was an all-women's one. She was giving out her gamer tag on Twitter for Xbox, and by the time I went on it, her Xbox was already full, and I was like, damn it. So I know... Trust me, if I could have, I would have been playing Xbox with AJ Lee, and that would have been awesome. But
But she was one of the best workers in the Divas division.
Besides like Natty and Paige, the rest suck.
Yeah.
Unless you look at NXT, which hopefully we'll be getting some.
There's a lot of good female talent on the NXT side right now.
Yeah, definitely.
There's also a bunch of not so good talent that looks to be coming in, but
Jesus Christ.
that's a matter for another time.
Yeah. So our next time filler segment. I guess it's time filler, but it's also something that they do every year. This is when they brought out the class of 2015 Hall of Fame inductees, which were Larry Sabisco, Tatsumi Fujinami, the Bushwhackers, Rikishi.
How the fuck is Rikishi a WWE Hall of Famer?
How the fuck is Coco Beware a WWE Hall of Famer?
Dude, fuck! Don't diss Coco Beware. Don't fucking diss Coco Beware. Coco Beware was fucking awesome. You didn't live the '80s. You don't know.
Okay, keep going.
But Rikishi was never more than a fucking mid-carder in his career. He was the comedy relief with Scotty 2 Hottie and Brian Christopher.
Have you actually heard anything about that? Apparently, Rikishi had asked, from what I read, Rikishi actually said that they wanted that he did not want Scotty 2 Hotty or Brian Christopher there at the ceremony.
That's fucking gold.
He did not want them there, and that's when they decided to. Scotty Hotty was like, it wasn't even because of that. In his speech, I've gone and watched his speech and a few others, and he mentioned a whole bunch of people, thanking a whole bunch of people, but he actually left out Too Cool in his thank you speeches, and Scotty went on Twitter and was like, oh, okay, whatever, blah, 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 something, something. But, yeah, it was Rikishi. I like him. I don't see why he's not in it. Last few people was...
Alundra Blaze.
Alundra Blaze, which I actually really liked her thing. I think she had the best speech of the night. Next, what else do we have? In the celebrity wing, we had Arnold Schwarzenegger. I know you're not a big fan of him going into the WWE Hall of Fame, but it kind of made sense if you look at it this way, because you know how he has his own Arnold Hall of Fame type thing, the International Sports Hall of Fame. Triple H went into his Hall of Fame, so now this is them being like, here, you can go into our Hall of Fame.
You suck my dick, I'll suck yours. Okay.
Pretty much. And then we have the great one, the Macho Man.
Ooh, yeah!
Randy Savage going into the Hall of Fame as well.
Finally, long overdue Randy Savage going into the Hall of Fame.
As well, we have the first annual Warrior Award going to Connor the Crusher Mahalik, who he touched a lot of people, including Daniel Bryan, and Daniel Bryan had a really good speech. And then closing out the night, and even on closing out of the Hall of Fame thing portion of WrestleMania, was Kevin Nash coming out. Alright, so the Hall of Fame, yep, done. Kevin Nash comes out, that's about it. Then we go into match number 5 of the night, and it's the United States Championship match with the United States Champion Rusev coming out with Lana.
In a tank! That was fucking amazing! He came out in a tank! Jesus Christ, it was so good! It's so good!
Lana first comes out walking down the ring. I think she had the title in her hand, didn't she, when she's walking down to the ring?
Yeah.
Behind her marching is some Russian soldiers, and then, as Dave said, Rusev comes out...
In a tank!
He comes out in a tank, and it was a really great sight to see. Pretty awesome. Rusev comes down, then they show a video package of America, so great, blah, blah, blah. Not my cup of tea because I don't care, I'm not American. And then that's when you have John Cena come out.
The John Cena patriotism spot.
What doesn't make sense, this crowd, like, I'm always going to be booing Cena and cheering for Rusev. I'm not Canadian. I'm not American, so fuck, I don't give a fuck if he's if he's dissing America. Whatever, go ahead. But
I don't care, it's not my country.
But when Rusev comes out, the crowd is chanting USA, USA, USA. And then Cena comes out, and his song, da 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 da, the whole crowd starts going, John Cena sucks. John Cena sucks. So I'm like, so if you're chanting USA and he is representing USA, but then you're booing him and chanting John Cena sucks, who the fuck do you want to win this match?
I think if they had their way, no one would win this match.
I guess so. You know what? At some points, the crowd was actually chanting, let's go Lana, even though she wasn't wrestling in the match.
Well, I mean, really, who doesn't want to see more of Lana?
Jeez, every time she's off the fucking show, I'm like, jeez, why is Rusev coming out? Fuck, man, she's hot.
I love the fact that she's... Well, you know what? Fuck it. She's fucking from the mid-south United States. I fucking love it.
Yeah, she's not even Russian. Her background, I think, if I'm right, she's like some type of Spanish. I think she's Puerto Rican or something.
I think she was born and raised in Kentucky, but whatever. Fuck it. I love Lana. I think if people had their way, it would just be Lana standing in the ring for 18 minutes.
Yeah. You know what we could have used? We could have used Lana back in the days of the bra and panty matches. That would have been good. But
there's some images out there, but
well, we won't give you links to those. You guys can go look at them yourselves. But okay match.
That's
I guess.
what Google's for.
Yeah, that's exactly what Google's for. Okay match, I guess. Typical John Cena. Although he did do a a stunner off the ropes.
Yeah,
that was really weird.
It was a weird version of the stunner. Basically, he ran into the ropes, bounced off the ropes, facing backwards towards Rusev, and as he was coming off the ropes, he hit him with the Stone Cold Stunner. It was really odd and weird to see, and then he used it again a couple nights later on SmackDown. Yeah.
I don't think I've watched that SmackDown yet.
Yeah, he used it again a couple nights later on the SmackDown after WrestleMania, and I guess it's a move that they're going to have him do more frequently now by the looks of it.
Seven moves of doom, something like that now. Jesus Christ. But, it was okay match. I don't know what else happened. Cena, Rusev had him in the accolade. I don't even know what the fuck it's called. He had him in his version of the camel clutch, because that's exactly what it is. And, Cena got out of it, Rusev got him in it again, Cena got out again, and, Lana comes in, Lana tries to get in, she gets knocked off the thing by, I think, Rusev. Rusev looks to check on her.
Was she trying to get in the ring? I think she was just trying to distract the ref.
Yeah, but Rusev ran into her, right? She fell off and, hurt her ankle, so Rusev is looking to see if she's okay, turns around, John Cena picks her up, hits the FU, 1, 2, 3. John Cena is now your new United States champion. And, that's, once again, like I said before, now you have two of your biggest baby faces holding the two mid-card titles. So
we'll see how it goes. Yeah, like we brought up earlier, they seem to be pushing both Bryan and Cena as these fighting champions that are going to take on all challengers to bring back prestige to the U.S. and Intercontinental Championship. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, it was good. But next is another time filler segment, but it is perhaps the best time filler segment, because out comes Triple H and Stephanie McMahon, and they're cutting a promo. They announced that the crowd is a new record at Levi's Stadium with 76,976 people. The one thing I noted about that when they said that is that they did not say it was a sellout crowd, but yet Levi's Stadium tweets out later that it is a sellout crowd, which I do not believe, because I saw a few empty seats, 1 and 2. They said that tickets would be available at the door. If tickets are available at the door for WrestleMania, you're not selling out your WrestleMania. I'm sorry. It's just no way. But whatever. 76,976 people, new record at Levi's Stadium. And then they start cutting their heel promo.
Which goes back to the Sin match making absolutely no sense at the end, because Triple H, as a heel, cuts his promo against Sting, talking about how he beat him and how he basically bested WCW again. So it nullifies the handshake show of respect that they had at the end of their match. So that's why I said earlier in this podcast that it ended up making absolutely no sense.
It's true. It made no sense. And then, whatever. Done with that part. But Triple H and Stephanie, they're saying, I owned Sting, I owned him, it's like I own everybody in the back, every person in that locker room, we own them, we own all of you, the crowd, blah, blah, blah. And then out walks the people's champ, The Rock, to a thunderous ovation. Because, I was there, I don't know how it came across on the screen for you, but it was loud there. How did it come off to you?
It came off the way that it usually comes off when Rocky comes out. Everyone loves The Rock. He's, along with Austin, he's one of the most popular superstars of the last 20 years.
Yeah.
He's always going to get a huge pop no matter what. Except apparently when he's out to help promote Roman Reigns. That seems to be the only time where people will actually boo The Rock.
Well, see, even going back to that, he got cheered when he came out. It's just when he came out and started holding up Roman Reigns' hands, that's when people booed. But, it is what it is. Not many people are fans of Roman Reigns. I don't mind the guy. I just don't think he's ready for the spot that he was given at this WrestleMania.
And not only that, people were expecting Daniel Bryan to be in the main event spot this year. So to give it to Roman Reigns really pissed off a lot of fans.
I was one of those fans. But whatever. Rock comes out, crowd going nuts, to the point where he looks like he's about to talk. We start chanting, Rocky, Rocky, Rocky. It got to the point where even Steph was like, okay, we get it, you're happy, can you be quiet now? And then, we chant louder for that because we want to piss off Stephanie McMahon. Rock starts talking about, he's like, let me tell you one thing. You don't own these people, and you damn sure as hell don't own The Rock. Triple H starts talking, saying, he's like, do you want to do something about it, Triple H? I could be, he's like, we could do a WrestleMania moment right now, or you could go backstage and dress up like Terminator again. It was pretty funny. And then, what the fuck?
Stephanie.
Oh, Steph. What the fuck can I remember? I think I have it written down too. Steph starts talking shit to Rock, slaps him in the face, and says, what are you going to do? You're going to hit a woman? Are you going to hit me? And she's like, get out of my ring. So Rock gets out of the ring. He keeps talking shit to Rock. And instead of walking up the ramp and leaving, The Rock walks around to the front of the crowd and sitting front row.
Well, as Rock was leaving the ring, the crowd was already chanting, Ronda Rousey, Ronda Rousey.
I was a little shocked. I was expecting his cousin, Tamina, who is actually his cousin. I thought she would be coming out. I was not expecting Ronda. I remember they showed Ronda earlier in the show. I didn't think of anything because, she is a big fan of WWE. She's been to a few shows. She was at the SummerSlam show back when Stephanie was fighting Brie about it. But then he goes to Ronda, grabs Ronda, brings her over the barricade, gets
to a
the
huge ovation. I think people popped more for this than when Rock actually came out.
Yeah, actually probably because there you go. You have it in the ring. You have Triple H and Stephanie McMahon standing toe-to-toe with the great one, The Rock, and the UFC women's bantamweight
I'm going to go ahead and call her the greater one, the greatest women's fighter in history, Ronda Rousey.
Yeah. And even Steph kind of said something like that. She was like, what did she say? Oh, Ronda, I truly believe you are the most dangerous woman in the world. And, but this is my ring, get out. And Ronda just says, Steph, one thing you need to know is any ring that I get into is my ring. So if you want me to leave,
do something about it.
Yeah, exactly. Right? And, Steph starts talking shit again, whatever. Rock starts making jokes about how the look that...
He basically says something to the effect of, I don't know if you know what that look means, Steph, so I'm going to tell you. What that look means is that Ronda is about 5 seconds from reaching down your throat and
pulling out your insides.
Pulling out your fallopian tubes and playing hopscotch with them.
Yeah. Or jump rope.
Jump rope.
Hopscotch.
Hopscotch, jump rope. What the fuck ever.
Whatever. That's it. It was a funny segment. It was a great segment. Got the crowd going nuts for Ronda Rousey and The Rock. Triple H starts saying, enough of this. You're not going to say one more word. I'm done with this. And Rock says, I totally agree. That's the last thing I will say. And then he just starts laying a smack down on Triple H to the point where he throws him back. He comes at him. And then Ronda grabs Triple H and judo throws him over. Judo throw? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was a judo throw.
Judo throws him over her, and Stephanie gets in Ronda's face saying, what are you doing? Who do you think you are? And goes to slap
That was a
Ronda.
great Steph impression. What are you doing? But yeah, basically Steph once again got all up in Ronda's face, and Ronda grabbed her arm, and once again the crowd popped huge because I think a lot of people were actually expecting Ronda to put an armbar on Steph. Of course, that didn't happen. She just kind of held Steph's arm for a while, and then
get it later.
And then pushed Steph out of the ring.
Yeah, it was a great segment, really good. Got the crowd going nuts. I was there. I was popping crazy for Ronda Rousey. She's absolutely amazing. One of my favorite stars to go see when she's fighting in the UFC. She's one of the reasons I will go out and watch it. But that leads us into match number 6, which is Bray Wyatt versus the returning Undertaker.
This
who
one
we haven't seen in a year.
Of course, the lead-in into this match was the fact that Undertaker's WrestleMania streak of 21-0 had been broken at WrestleMania 30 when Brock Lesnar defeated him, making him the first and only man to defeat Undertaker at a WrestleMania. So the lead-in to that was Undertaker hadn't been seen in a year. What can we expect when the Undertaker comes out?
What would he look like? How would he look? And
they were really trying to promote Bray Wyatt as the new face of fear. I gotta say,
they're still trying to do that. I don't understand, but whatever.
The Bray Wyatt entrance to this match was personally my favorite entrance.
Pretty cool.
With the dancing zombie scarecrows, I loved it. I thought it was a great entrance.
It was a good entrance. It was really cool seeing that Bray Wyatt coming out with some scarecrows and stuff.
Of course, as always, Bray comes out with the lantern. And as I was saying to you beforehand, I think that entrance could have looked a little better with if it had to have been darker outside.
Yeah.
But I still thought it was a really interesting and cool to watch entrance.
Yeah, I liked it. And then Bray's in the ring waiting, and then what do you hear? The gong. Out comes Undertaker, and he looks great compared to last year. And as Dave is laughing at, I'm pretty sure it's The Rock, or not Rock, what the fuck, Hulk Hogan and Vince McMahon as we're watching WrestleMania 19 right now.
Yes, in the background as we're recording this podcast, sorry to get off track, but as we're recording this podcast, we're watching Hogan versus Vince McMahon from WrestleMania 19, and Hogan goes to hit Vince with a chair, and he hits the Spanish announcer, and it looks like the chair missed the Spanish announcer by at least 3 inches, but the Spanish announcer still took the bump and fell to the ground, and it was fucking hilarious. So that's what I'm laughing at the moment.
Yeah, that was pretty funny. But back to the thing, Undertaker comes out. And he looks great. Last year, he didn't look that good. And I'm not even talking about his match. It's just
his
physical appearance. He did not look that good. I think he had the shaved head or maybe just the small little mohawk. But tonight, he comes out and he looks like old school Undertaker. The hat, the trench coat, and he's got a little bit of hair growing.
Might have been extensions. Might have been extensions, but yeah, the hair was a little bit longer.
And good match. Undertaker still can go. Bray made it a good match too. Did you hear? I think I told you about this. Apparently, Bray Wyatt was actually injured earlier in the day when he was training for that match.
that was all over Twitter. I don't know when it was officially announced, but it sort of made its rounds around Twitter when The Rock and Ronda and Steph and Triple H promo was happening. So people didn't really know what to expect going into the Taker-Wyatt match.
But Wyatt looked fine. He did good. Wyatt got him down at one point, did his little, what do you call that, spider crawl thing?
I think that's what a lot of people are just calling it, is just the spider crawl.
The spider crawl. It's like the crawl thing from The Exorcist, where he does the spider crawl. But as he's doing it towards the Undertaker, who's just lying down, you see Undertaker do his iconic sit-up thing and just stare at him, and it was good. But
it was actually a really good spot, because then Bray slowly crumpled out of that spider walk, and just his facial expression. I mean, you probably couldn't see it live, but
there's pictures of the facial expression.
Yeah, he really sold that spot well with the facial expression, I thought. It was a really, really good spot to see.
Yeah, good match. Undertaker, Bray Wyatt going for a Sister Abigail, and Undertaker counters that straight into a Tombstone piledriver, gets the pin, and Undertaker is now 22-1. But they don't show the graphic for that. Did you see that? There was no graphic saying that he was 22-1, but I keep counting. He's still 22-1 now, and looks like Undertaker. He looks like he's going to be coming back next year for the show in Texas at WrestleMania 32. Well, possibly his last match, right?
It's in his home state, so I don't see it happening without him unless an unforeseen circumstance, like if he gets injured and can't compete. But outside of that, I don't see WrestleMania 32 happening in Texas without Undertaker having a match there.
Not only without having a match, I still think that this will be his retirement match in Texas, his home state. I think it'll be good. Who do you put him against?
The Spanish
For those of you now listening, we're laughing again because we look back over.
It took them 10 minutes to get medical attention for the Spanish announcer,
who only has a little bit of blood coming out of his head from getting hit in the head with the chair. But
it probably took him 10 minutes to try and get the blade going. But anyways, who do I think Taker will go up against next year? I know a lot of people are hypothesizing Taker versus Sting. That could be good too, but then again, I don't think you're going to have Taker lose his last match. I certainly don't think you're going to have him lose it in Texas. So then once again, you would be bringing Sting in to lose.
There will be riots in Texas if Undertaker loses. Let me tell you that right now, for sure, definitely.
So I really don't know who you're gonna put him up against. I mean, maybe do a rematch with Brock Lesnar and have his last match sort of be the Redeemer match for his one loss.
That could work. I could see that working. That's a pretty good thing. That's a good idea.
But other than that, I can't really think of who you would have his match against.
Hey, at this point in time when we're talking, nothing is signed. But I hear the rumblings of somebody coming to the WWE, and it has always been my dream match. It could still happen. I still want to see The Undertaker versus the Samoan submission machine, Samoa Joe. I think that would be a great match. But, the match is done.
Oh, I was hoping Shane O'Mac was coming back.
Fuck Shane O'Mac. Actually, you know what? I'm fine if Shane O'Mac comes back. I always like Shane. And that leads us into our...
Shane O'Mac shuffle. How can you not have that?
The Shane shuffle, yes. Match number 7, which is
our
main event, final match. It is the 2015 Royal Rumble winner, Roman Reigns, coming out to face the WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Brock Lesnar, with Paul Heyman and...
Who I love. I'm a huge fan of
Paul Heyman, man. What can't that guy do? Greatest talker, I swear. Greatest talker, has always great promos. And
God damn, if Enzo Amore ever gets to WWE main roster, if you can put him in some sort of angle with Paul Heyman, the promos those two will be able to come up with will be pure gold.
That would be phenomenal, because I don't know how many people of you actually watch NXT, but Dave and I are huge fans of Enzo Amore and Colin Cassidy, Big Cass.
Not so much fans of Carmella, but that's a different story.
Yeah, no.
But Enzo and Cass are amazing. Enzo is a beast on the mic.
Yeah, great. And you know what? Everybody who watches NXT, they know his whole shtick. It's funny. It's good. But comes out with Paul Heyman, Brock Lesnar, Undertaker. Oh, no, fuck, I wish Brock Lesnar, Undertaker. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, sorry. And Brock Lesnar does what he does. Suplex City.
Bitch.
Suplex City, bitch. Right. This is what happens. Brock Lesnar comes out. Everybody's cheering him. Remember, Brock Lesnar is actually supposed to be the heel in this match. But he's getting cheered like no tomorrow because Roman Reigns is supposed to be the face, and everybody boos that motherfucker, okay? They booed him out of that fucking building. Brock Lesnar comes in, starts suplexing him just like he was doing to John Cena at SummerSlam. SummerSlam, he hit 16 suplexes in that match. And this, tonight, I think, what did he hit? 10?
Ended up hitting 10. And at one point, Brock turns to the camera and just screams at the top of his lungs, "Welcome to Suplex City, bitch!"
Which is where we are going to plug our shirt one more time. We have a shirt out there now that says Suplex City on the front with the San Francisco...
It's the Golden Gate Bridge and an image of wrestlers suplexing another wrestler on the front. And on the back, it says bitch in nice bold letters.
So go pick up one of those shirts. Suplex City, bitch. Dave, where can they get that again?
Do you know where they can get that, Josh? They can get that by going to teespring.com/SUPCity. That's teespring.com/SUPCity. Available for about another week. It'll be available until, what's the date?
I think I checked it yesterday. It said 11 days left. So
yeah, it'll be a
week.
week.
Yesterday was Saturday on the 10th.
It'll be a week from Wednesday. Yeah, it'll be available until the 22nd of April. So be sure you head on over to teespring.com/SUPCity before April the 22nd and pick up a shirt for yourself.
Yeah. And so, good match. Brock Lesnar, like we said, hit 10 suplexes throughout that match. Roman Reigns, he got his, his Superman punches. I think he hit Brock with like 4 of them, then hit him with a spear, and Brock still kicks out. Then they go to the outside.
Surprisingly, both men were bleeding a little bit in this match, which is a rarity in the PG era of the WWE.
Yeah, that you don't see that much anymore, and it was good. Brock got busted up from the the ring post, and he was in the ring, got speared, and still kicks out. I always say Brock Lesnar is a beast. He kicks out, and then Roman comes at him for a third spear, and he catches him, picks him up, F5s him, and
goes to cover Roman for the win.
That was at least the 4th or 5th F5 that he hit throughout that night.
Yeah.
But he's so tired from getting like speared and going headfirst into the ring post and bleeding that he can't even get to Roman to cover him. And out comes Seth Rollins
to cash in his Money in the Bank mid-match. First time Money in the Bank has been cashed in at WrestleMania, and I believe the first time it's been cashed in during a match and not after a match.
Yeah, I think so. That sounds about right. First time it's ever been done that too. He comes in, gives the briefcase to the referee. Referee tells Lillian Garcia to make the announcement that this match is now a triple threat match. Rollins comes, throws out Roman Reigns, kicks him out to the ground, hits a curb stomp on Brock Lesnar, but Brock still stumbles around. He's not down yet. So Rollins goes for a second curb stomp, but as he goes for that curb stomp, Brock Lesnar grabs him up on the shoulders, is about to hit an F5, turns around to get speared.
Roman Reigns comes back into the ring, spears the shit out of Brock Lesnar. And then as Lesnar rolls out of the ring, Rollins recovers and gets the curb stomp on Roman Reigns, covers him. 1, 2, 3. Your new heavyweight champion, Roman Reigns. Seth Rollins.
Your new WWE World Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins, who pins not even the champion, but the challenger in Roman Reigns. And now your new heavyweight champion. And to be honest, I think that's probably the best way to end WrestleMania because it definitely kept Brock strong because Brock didn't end up actually losing the title by being pinned or submitted. It ended up being a triple threat match, and the challenger, not the champion, was pinned, as you have already mentioned. So it definitely keeps Brock strong for when he returns to face Seth Rollins, and now you also have heat between Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns, and what they've built up on the TV is also heat between Seth Rollins and Randy Orton. So you really have 3 people right now sort of gunning for the heavyweight championship that Seth Rollins currently holds. You got 3 people going there, and then you don't even have 2 of your biggest baby faces with Daniel Bryan or John Cena. None of them are going for that title since they're champions in their own right. But You have three different things that you can do. Looks good, sounds good, and Seth Rollins, best way to go out with WrestleMania since Brock re-signed his contract, and now you don't have people booing. It got people happy because at that crowd for Raw, or not even Raw, for that crowd for WrestleMania, they did not want Roman Reigns to leave with that. And since Brock Lesnar is not going to leave with it, and he's going to go away because, he only works a limited date, best thing to do, put it on Seth Rollins. I think it's a good idea. I liked it. I'm happy with that decision.
Yeah, no, I agree. It keeps the belt strong. It keeps the three men involved in the match strong. I like the finish of the match. I think there were quite a number of people out there that sort of expected Seth Rollins to cash in his Money in the Bank after this matchup, but I don't think anyone saw him cashing it in during the matchup.
Not. I did not.
So I really like the angle that they worked there, just in order to keep everyone strong.
Yep, I thought it was a good one. Like I said, that ended WrestleMania. It was a good show, great show. One of my favorites besides last year, but last year was good just because being in New Orleans was pretty amazing. And WrestleMania 28 was one of my favorites too, seeing The Rock versus John Cena for the first time, and unfortunately not the last time. But it was a good WrestleMania. I liked it. Gave it a thumbs up.
I give it a huge thumbs up. Like I said, I hadn't really watched too much wrestling in a couple years, so I didn't really have any expectations into this WrestleMania, and it was good. It was enjoyable. So I will give it a thumbs up.
Yep. Well, I think that's how we're gonna wrap this up because it's an hour and 35 minutes of us talking.
You know what I think would be a good way to wrap it up, Josh, is to promote basically a mini WrestleMania that's coming up later this week.
Well, I was actually going to get to it.
If you are in the Toronto area on Saturday, April the 18th, be sure you head down to, what's the address, Josh?
I don't fucking know.
Hang
on, we'll find it. We'll find out the address for this thing. But it's actually what I was going to say too. Next weekend there is a show on Saturday the 18th at 8 p.m. is the bell time, 7 p.m. for VIP ticket holders, 7:30 for the non-VIP ticket holders. It is called Superkick'd Live. This one is called Superkick'd Cancer. We will be going to the show.
It's coming live to you from the Great Hall at 1087 Queen Street West. So if you're in the Toronto area and you're a wrestling fan, stop by. It's going to feature the first ever Superkick Championship fight, which is going to see Brent Money Banks going up against Ashley Six for the title.
Should be a phenomenal match.
It's going to be a phenomenal match. So,
and let me just put this out there. We actually do not work for this company. We do not get paid to tell you guys how good this company is.
We're not getting paid at all, but if you want to help us get paid, you can always go to teespring.com/SUP City and buy one of our shirts and help supplement the income so we can get better equipment. Because right now our mics kind of suck. And Josh's mic stand definitely sucks. It's a cardboard box that he made to look like a mic stand. So,
MacGyvered the bitch, okay? I MacGyvered the bitch. But,
if check out the Superkick'd shows.
Yes, we've been to a few of them. They're really fun.
Space Monkey!
Yes, Dave's favorite is Space Monkey. Who are they bringing in? I think they're bringing Matt Morgan from TNA. They bring in some good guys. I remember last time I wasn't here for the show because I think I was on my vacation there. They brought in pretty much everyone off of the ROH roster. Yeah. Roderick Strong was there, who's one of my favorites.
I unfortunately didn't get a chance to get to that last show because I was extremely sick.
Yeah. But they will have Matt Morgan, who was a former wrestler for WWE, TNA. They have the European sensation Tommy End is going to be there. And then from Ring of Honor, Unbreakable Michael Elgin. And once again, the title match for that show will be the Ashley Six versus Brent Money Banks. And we will be there watching the show live. It'll be a great show. If you don't get out to see it, I'm thinking if Dave doesn't work on Sunday, we'll do a recap of that show next Sunday.
Yeah. If I don't know when exactly our next show is going to be, we're going to try to aim to get these shows out on a fairly regular weekly basis. But Sunday sounds good to do a recap of the Superkick'd show. So be sure you check it out. And if you don't get a chance to get down to the area, we will be reviewing it on the next podcast.
All right. So, I think that's going to wrap us up. I am Joshua the Mexican Ortiz for Dave Speed Ocho. Have a good night, guys.